If Niccolò Machiavelli were around today, he wouldn't be writing books. He'd be guiding major organizations quietly. He wouldn't post on social media. He'd be the person working behind the scenes, making moves so subtle, you'd think things just happened by chance. Because in a world obsessed with being seen, Machiavelli would succeed by staying out of plain sight. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how. Not with simple quotes, but with powerful lessons. These are 21 psychological steps for gaining full control, based on what Machiavelli would do if he were living in our time. People judge more by what they see than by what is truly happening. Control how others see you, and you control what they do. Lesson 1. Let them underestimate you. Machiavelli understood that your power is safest when it's not obvious. Today, everyone rushes to prove themselves, to show off their skills, to claim their importance, to make sure everyone knows they're the smartest person in the room. But Machiavelli wouldn't walk in making a lot of noise. He'd be the last to arrive. He'd watch carefully first. He'd speak when no one expected him to, and say something no one else dared, and by doing this, he would subtly guide the room without anyone realizing until it was too late. Let people think you're quiet. Let them think you're harmless. Let them think you're not a big deal. Because when they don't see you as a threat, they let down their guard. You can then act from a position they never saw coming. Lesson 2. Being charming works better than just being right. In today's connected, image-focused world, what spreads isn't always the truth. It's how things seem. Machiavelli knew everyone sees what you appear to be. Few understand what you really are. So he wouldn't waste time trying to prove he was honest. He'd focus on creating a powerful image. He'd smile in important meetings while cleverly guiding thoughts in a different direction. He'd charm rivals, give them a false sense of security, and disarm them by being likable. That's the skill, not to be good, but to be believed as good. You don't need to be perfectly honest. You need to be convincing. Don't try to correct how people see you. Use that perception to your advantage. Let them celebrate you as the hero, while you quietly shape the final outcome. Lesson 3. Create mystery on purpose. Most people try hard to be understood. Machiavelli would do the opposite. He'd keep people guessing. One day he might seem distant. The next, surprisingly generous. Sometimes completely silent. Other times, very focused. Not because he's confused, but because they are. Being unsure makes people curious. Curiosity makes them pay close attention. And that focus gives you influence. When people can't easily define you, they study you. They analyze every word you say. They try to find meaning in your silence. They start to revolve around your mystery, trying to figure out what they can't control. That's true power. You're no longer just a person. You're a puzzle. And puzzles become something people can't stop thinking about. Machiavelli would say, the people you influence the most are the ones who think about you the most. So stop over-explaining. Stop constantly clarifying your position. Stop filling every quiet moment. Leave gaps. Speak in ways that make them wonder. Smile when they ask questions you choose not to answer. Because mystery sparks curiosity, and curiosity creates a strong pull. Lesson 4. Guide what they see, conceal what you do. In a world where everyone shares every move, Machiavelli would work behind the scenes. Everyone is building their personal brand, posting updates, sharing progress, showing evidence of their work. But the moment people see how you move, they start planning against you. They form groups. They create stories. They set traps in your path. So what would Machiavelli do? He'd make his results visible to everyone, but keep his methods private. He would appear open, while carefully hiding his true steps. A leader must always be ready to act against loyalty, against kindness, against human nature, against religion, to keep things stable. Simply put, look honorable. Act strategically. Don't reveal your plans. Don't explain your methods. Don't tell people what you're building until you've already finished it. Let them think you're slow. Let them think you're resting. Then pass them by with a silent move they never expected. Control the public image. Guard your true work. Lesson 5. Build an image, then allow a small flaw. Machiavelli understood something that many clever people now use. Being perfect is easily forgotten. Small imperfections are memorable, so you build a strong image. You appear confident, intelligent. But just once, let a small crack show. Reveal a controlled imperfection, a sharp, unexpected comment, a planned moment of openness, a sudden, deep insight that shows you're much more complex than they realized. Why? Because people don't obsess over what they completely understand. They obsess over what feels just out of their grasp. Give them 90% of the story, then go silent. They'll spend years trying to figure out the other 10%. Lesson 6. Speak less than necessary, always. A wise leader should seem virtuous while being ready to act differently if needed. So appear as the good guy. Then show a hint of your hidden depth. Let them glimpse the complexity. Then pull back. You'll become unforgettable. Not because they loved your image, but because they saw it shift, and now they need to know what's truly there. When people talk too much, they show their weaknesses. Their need for approval, their fear of being misunderstood, their reliance on clear answers. But the one who speaks precisely and stops before explaining too much commands the room. Machiavelli didn't speak to be fully understood. He spoke to create distance. He used words like sharp tools, not soft blankets. In a discussion, in an argument, in a tense moment, he'd say one sentence, maybe two. His words wouldn't invite more talking. They'd end it. Other people's words sound stronger when you speak less. Your silence after their outburst doesn't make you look weak. It makes them look out of control. And that silence? That's where a sense of caution begins. Why? Because now they start guessing. They think, what does he know? Why isn't he reacting? What is he planning? You've said nothing. But they've created a whole story in their heads. And you're the person they can't outsmart. So what do you say when you have influence? Exactly enough. Not to fully satisfy. Not to impress. Just to guide their thoughts. Then stop. Let them lean in. Let them wonder. Let them feel the pressure. Because mystery, true mystery, is created in the quiet spaces between words. Lesson 7. Blend the lines between friend and competitor. In today's world, people are obsessed with knowing exactly where everyone stands. Who's on their team? Who's against them? Who's safe and who's a threat? Machiavelli would never let them feel that certainty. He'd have rivals at dinner. He'd praise competitors publicly. He'd even defend people he secretly planned to remove later. Why? Because when people think you're a clear threat, they prepare for a fight. But when they think you're neutral, they lower their guard. And the best time to make a move is when they're off guard. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. You must be both. So you might compliment your rival's idea just before you cleverly outmaneuver them. You might agree with a critic just before quietly replacing them. You might seem passive until your absence becomes a powerful tool. Be kind, be supportive, be disarming, until the moment you act, and by then, it's too late to stop you. Lesson 8. Make them feel secure right before you take action. In simple terms, say less, smile more, appear neutral, and then take your position while they're still unsure if you were even a threat. The easiest way to achieve your goals is not by fighting. It's by making others believe you're no threat. You're on their side. You want them to succeed. Then, when they finally trust you, you make your move. Decisively, quickly, smoothly. Before they can even feel surprised, you're already in the position you wanted. People are so simple and so quick to follow what they immediately need that someone who misleads them will always find victims. So tell them what they want to hear, show them what they want to see, and take what they never thought you'd touch, all while keeping a calm smile. Lesson 9. Create dependence, then step back. If Machiavelli wanted to have power over someone, he wouldn't threaten them. He'd help them in ways that slowly, quietly made them rely on him. He'd teach them something no one else could, solve a problem no one else would, provide stability they hadn't earned themselves. He'd become essential without ever asking for recognition. And then he'd withdraw, not in anger, not seeking revenge, just a quiet stepping back. Why? Because nothing breaks people faster than suddenly losing something they've become used to. People remain honest only when necessary. When they are free to act, they often act dishonestly. So Machiavelli would become that essential element you thought you didn't need until you lost it. That's how you become unforgettable. Create a void. Make them lean on you, then gently take your hand away mid-step. They won't hate you. They'll dislike how much they need you and spend years trying to fill that empty space. Lesson 10. Use favors strategically. Most people offer help to be liked. Machiavelli would offer help to gain influence. If he gave you something, he wouldn't let you forget it. He wouldn't demand repayment directly. He'd collect with his presence. You'd feel indebted. You'd feel a slight power imbalance you couldn't easily fix. And that's the point. You offer them a quicker way, a solution, an advantage. Then you subtly pull back. You don't ask for anything. You just let that imbalance linger until they start paying you back with loyalty, favors, information, or by simply following your lead. And if they forget, you remind them, very subtly. A look, a pause, a story about someone else who was once helped and then became unappreciative. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Sometimes command is just a quiet reminder of an unspoken debt. It was just, that time I helped you. Enough to make them realize you hold a piece of their pride. Favors, when used patiently, become strong psychological ties. And the longer they go unacknowledged, the heavier they feel. Lesson 11. Build loyalty by letting them commit to you. People think loyalty is earned by being kind. It isn't always. Machiavelli knew the best way to make someone truly loyal is to get them to compromise for your benefit. You don't force betrayal. You simply create the opportunity. Let them tell you something they shouldn't. Let them break a small rule in your favor. Let them speak negatively about someone else to gain your approval. You never demand it. You never pressure them. You just leave the door slightly open, and they walk through it. Now they're connected to you, not by admiration, but by shared involvement. People protect the things they've sacrificed for. So when someone acts against others in your direction, they're investing in you. And the more they invest, the less they can afford to lose you. That's how Machiavelli would create allies, not through charm, but through interconnectedness. Lesson 12. Weaken connections from within. Machiavelli didn't just outsmart individuals, He dismantled entire groups, but not through direct conflict. Through slow erosion. He wouldn't attack the group directly. He'd subtly work inside it. He'd plant ideas, seeds of doubt, small disagreements about shared values. He who helps another become powerful often hurts himself. So he'd identify the strongest bond in the group and slowly introduce suspicion. I heard he mentioned something negative about you. Have you noticed how she never really stands up for you? I'm not saying anything. Just watch how they act. That's all it takes. You don't need to destroy the connection. You just let them destroy it themselves. Let their fear of being betrayed do the work for you. Because once trust breaks inside a group, the whole structure can weaken without a single direct attack. Lesson 13. Gently highlight their insecurities. Want someone to follow your lead without realizing it? Make them feel understood, but only in ways that confirm their hidden doubts, not with insults, not with harsh criticism, with soft, well-timed comments. You're really brave, especially for someone who isn't used to being in the spotlight. You always seem to get through, even when people don't fully respect you. You're doing great, even if your confidence isn't always obvious. What do these statements do? They tap into their hidden concerns, and once you've established yourself as the person who gets them, they connect, they defer, they start to move under your quiet influence. Machiavelli understood that doubt and hidden fears are far more effective than direct threats, because threats make people defensive. But insecurities? They open the door from the inside, and once you're in, you become the only voice they truly trust. Lesson 14. Never be the one directly causing harm. In every difficult decision, in every tough removal, Machiavelli had one main rule: let others do the unpleasant work. He would arrange outcomes, whisper ideas, guide decisions, but never be the one clearly responsible. When someone needed to be cut off, he'd make it seem like they were never truly loyal in the first place. When a rival needed to be removed, he'd let them mess up on their own, with just the right amount of subtle encouragement. When chaos needed to happen, he'd subtly feed information to both sides, then step away before the problem started. Why? Because if you're seen as the one causing problems, you gain enemies. But if you're seen as the natural alternative after someone else fails, you gain supporters. This is the Machiavellian masterpiece, the appearance of clean hands. You arranged everything. You influenced everyone. But no one can prove it. And even if they suspect you, you're already in the position the previous person held. Lesson 15. Say nothing and let them reveal everything. In any room, the most powerful person isn't the loudest. It's the one who says nothing and observes everything. Why? Because silence is a strategic tool disguised as doing nothing. Machiavelli would walk into today's world of constant talking and digital noise and win by being the one person who doesn't broadcast. He wouldn't fill the quiet moments. He'd let others struggle with them. Here's how he'd use it. Someone criticizes you. You say nothing. Someone asks your opinion. You smile and let them keep talking. Someone tries to provoke a reaction. You stay calm, quiet, and show no emotion. That silence forces them to speak more. And the more they speak, the more they reveal their doubts, their true intentions, their weak spots. You don't have to question them. They'll tell you everything, just to fill the space you've used to your advantage. Lesson 16. Be unpredictable, but only when it counts. Never try to win by force what can be won by cleverness. And silence is cleverness's most elegant form. Machiavelli would never be random. He would be unpredictable in important moments. Why? Because being predictable makes you easy to influence. If they always know when you'll reply, they'll control the timing. If they always know how you'll react under pressure, they'll plan how to provoke you. If they know you'll always be noble, they'll take advantage. But if sometimes you forgive, and sometimes you disappear, if sometimes you speak, and sometimes you let them struggle in silence, if sometimes you engage, and sometimes you watch them fall apart, they will respect you. Not because you're aggressive, but because you're hard to read. And the person they can't predict is the person they can't prepare for. Lesson 17. Make your impact felt, even when you're not there. To gain deep influence, you don't need to always be present. You need to make others feel your impact when you're not around. By becoming the standard, the reference point, the silent guide in every conversation. They second-guess their choices because of how you used to gently correct them. They can't fully enjoy successes because they wonder what you would have done. They don't fully trust others because they remember how sharp your judgment was. This is psychological branding. Not based on what you post, based on your presence. You leave your mark by how you behave when you are in the room. Measured, observant, controlled, precise, so when you're gone, they don't forget you. They compare everyone else to you. Lesson 18. Never directly threaten. Let caution do the work. Machiavelli wouldn't need to fire people. He'd create such a powerful memory that even in his absence, they'd still follow his unspoken rules. Threats create resistance. Machiavelli never needed to say, "I'll hurt you." He'd let others wonder if he might. That wondering, that psychological pressure, far more effective than direct words. Here's how it works today. You don't say, "I could reveal your secrets." You just pause when they lie and watch them squirm. You don't say, "I'll ruin your chances." You just make one phone call, then say nothing else about it. You don't say, "You're finished." You simply disappear from their world and let them panic about what you're doing. Why? Because caution based on what they imagine is more powerful than caution based on what they know. Once they worry about what you might do, they start trying to gain your approval, just to avoid finding out. Lesson 19. Delay your response until it becomes most effective. Machiavelli didn't believe in reacting quickly. He believed in watching, waiting, letting the offense sit until the timing was perfect. Difficulties should be dealt with all at once, so their bad taste is felt less. Good things should be given out slowly. This meant, when someone did him wrong, he didn't react. He studied them. He let them relax. He let them believe they'd gotten away with it. And then, one day, when they least expected it, he acted. Calculated. Absolute. Because strategic response isn't just about punishment. It's about maintaining influence. When you react instantly, you let the other person set the pace. But when you delay, they live with uncertainty. They can't fully enjoy their small victories. They can't feel truly at ease. They worry about every quiet moment. And that worry, it causes more inner turmoil than any outburst ever could. Lesson 20. Become a reliable structure, not just a person. Machiavelli never wanted to be just liked. He wanted to be respected. Not because of charm, but because removing him would mean disrupting the entire way things worked. That's the modern move. Stop being just a name. Start being a network, an idea, a standard, a strategy woven into how others operate. Teach others to think like you. Make yourself essential in systems no one else fully understands. Embed your perspective in decisions that continue to influence long after you're gone. So even if people don't want you, they can't function effectively without you. This is how lasting impact is made. You aren't just influential when you're present. You are remembered in the very structures they can't easily undo. That's not just influence. That's lasting psychological impact. Lesson 21. Cultivate a reputation that commands caution. The ultimate form of influence isn't just being recognized. It's being a powerful presence that lingers. Machiavelli would be the person people talk about indirectly. You know who I mean. Don't make the same mistake he did. Remember how that situation played out last time. They wouldn't have to say your name, because even mentioning you feels like calling forth something bigger than they can handle. You don't just trend, you persist. You don't win every argument. You change the whole feeling of the conversation. You become the person they are cautious about bringing up, because everyone else in the room already understands the implications. If Machiavelli were alive today, he wouldn't be shouting online, seeking followers. He'd be subtly embedded in powerful groups, shaping narratives through calm smiles and silence. He'd be the voice in your head that says, "Don't respond. Don't reveal too much. Let them speak first. And most importantly, don't chase respect. Position yourself so they must acknowledge you." That's how you truly succeed. Not with noise, but with a lasting impact they can't avoid, even if they never saw you coming. Like this video. If you're ready to stop chasing approval, subscribe. If you're prepared to become the kind of individual they can't control, can't predict, and can never forget, because this isn't just self-improvement, this is an internal revolution. And you are becoming unstoppable.